Hi everyone, happy Monday and happy New Year. My name is Olivia Dropsick and I am New York City Council candidate in District 51, Staten Island's South Shore. And this is City Council 101. So I'd be really embarrassed to call myself a teacher if I didn't start City Council 101 videos by discussing what City Council even is. And so to their credit, City Council does a pretty good job of education and transparency. So after you watch this video, there's a link in my bio. Click it, it'll bring you to the City Council website. You can do a deep dive there. On that website, you are going to see the City Council liken themselves to the Congress on the federal level. And I think this is a great place to start because City Council is the legislative body of New York City. City Council has 51 members. Those 51 members each represent one of New York City's 51 districts. Those 51 members meet in 38 standing committees. So these committees address all aspects of life in New York, from aging to small business and labor to environmental resiliency. And committee is where all of the stuff goes down. So it's important to know which committees your City Council person is on, which ones they chair, and which ones your New York City Council candidates are planning to join. We're going to talk a lot more about committee. In addition to committees, City Council people work within caucuses. So these caucuses are based on how City Council people self-identify. So there are 6 major ones: Black, Latino, and Asian caucus, Irish caucus, Jewish caucus, Progressive caucus, Women's caucus, LGBT caucus. These caucuses are meant to ensure that the special needs and interests of often marginalized communities and groups are advocated for in legislation, budget, and oversight. City Council does 4 things. Legislation. City Council proposes and drafts laws. They work with the city charter to amend it and pass resolutions that impact truly every single aspect of our lives as New Yorkers. And so they're passing laws on our behalf all of the time that impact our daily lives. There's an entire section on legislation on the New York City Council website that we're going to do another video about in the future. But if you go there, you'll see all the legislation that's been proposed, that's been adopted, that's currently in committee, which City Council people have sponsored it, which have signed on to it. And you can take a look there and take a preview. Budget. City Council negotiates the largest city budget in the country. No big deal. This last one that was just passed was $92 billion, and it came under a lot of scrutiny this summer, if you remember, because we are in a global health pandemic and New York City is struggling financially. So now more than ever, it's important to know what our City Council people prioritize, because they are going to be going line by line to decide which programs and agencies in New York City get funded and which do not. And within the budget itself, each council person is allocated a certain amount of funding for their district. So District 51 received $400,000 in the last budget for district-specific programs and agencies and initiatives. So again, important to know what our City Council people are fighting for in terms of programming and funding. Oversight and monitoring of city agencies. New York City Council works with New York City agencies like the NYPD, Department of Education, the Department of Health and Hospitals. They are working with them as oversight and as monitoring to ensure that they are effectively and equitably addressing the needs of all New Yorkers in every district. So representation matters. Last, certainly not least, City Council works to review land use. So from the renaming of a street to whether or not a major warehouse should be able to build on a wetland. Again, priorities matter here. You should be asking these questions of your City Council person. What do they believe is important in terms of growth for our city? How do they believe land should be used and for who? How they believe jobs come into play with development, and to what end we should be allowing developers stake in our land and in our district. So land use is essential and important to know about here. It is a significant role that the City Council plays in our city and has a large impact on our lives. Just as an added tidbit, Our city council people, their salaries are funded by our tax dollars. So if you don't know what your city council person is doing with your time and with your money and how they are representing you in the best way that they can, you deserve to. This is just a start. Have fun on the New York City Council website, link in my bio. Have a great week. Thanks for watching.